Welcome back to another reading from The End of Olympians Hub, dear researchers. Today we're going to be reading the psychiatric profile for researcher Lee Byron. Now without further ado, confidential psychological evaluation. Do not distribute. Name: Lee Crato Byron. Clearance level 3. Location: Site 19. Date of birth: 09/18/1959. Age: 49 years and 11 months. Dates of testing. Tests given: Bayesian Ghost Test of Visual Motor Integration, BGVMT. Blast Glass Psychological Aptitude Scale, BGPAS. Gruncock Comprehensibility Exam, GCE. Standard Psionic Resistance Index Testing, PRI. Man Iceberg Scientific Competency Exam, MICE. Sharp Nose Adult Intelligence Scale, 3rd edition, SAIS 3. Reason for referral. Researcher Byron has a documented history of having difficulty working under duress, and due to the nature of his current project, it has been decided that a reevaluation is necessary. Background information. Lee Byron is an expert in telepathic phenomena, having trained under the late Dr. Yeager. Lee came to his current employment with the Foundation after being recruited from Prometheus Labs in 19. Since then, he has been instrumental in our research on various Prometheus-related projects within Site 19. Since his recruitment, he has received 2 promotions and currently has level 3 clearance. However, there has also been a history of projects he works on being removed from Foundation study. Of all the projects researcher Byron has worked on, 11 have been neutralized, 9 destroyed by negligence, and 2 being decommissioned. This has contributed to Lee having a history of depression, which he has been medicated for in the past. He is not currently on any medication. Health, medical. Lee has been reported having a normal birth in the city of and is allergic to shellfish. The only major medical issue that has come up in recent history is his depression, for which he was issued standard level 3 personnel antidepressants. He has not been on nor has he requested any type of medication for the past 1 year and 3 months. Education. As stated above, researcher Byron is an expert in telepathic phenomena after his tutelage on the subject by the late Dr. Yeager. Prior to his employment with the Foundation, he had achieved a master's degree in engineering and physics. He graduated from his high school in 1976. Behavioral observations. During each evaluation, Lee was noted as being lethargic, with slow reaction times and having trouble communicating. Researcher Byron exhibited sudden mood swings, typically manic. Our assessment indicates that researcher Byron has great difficulty reading body language and did not appear to notice changes in pitch when he was being spoken to by the tester. Furthermore, it became evident that he didn't understand the emotional cues of others. It has been determined that researcher Byron is suffering from sleep deprivation and has been given medication and a sleeping regime to accommodate his schedule. A follow-up examination has been scheduled for the upcoming months. Lee. Crato froze. Someone had said his name. There was someone in his room. Why would there be someone in his room? Could be Mazepag or Cyrus, hopefully not Cyrus, but it didn't sound like either of them, actually. Who did that sound like? Kratos frowned. He didn't know anyone who sounded like that. Wait, the lights weren't even on. Why is there someone in the dark? There's only one way to know. So... His eyes flicked open and glanced around. The static stillness of his dormitory greeted him and confused him. Nobody there? Then who had said his name? Maybe it was these new sleeping pills. He never trusted pills. Do you remember, Lee? Scrambling out of his bed, Kratos pressed himself up to a thin dormitory wall. Who's there? He hoped to sound intimidating, but it came out as a whisper. Not here to harm, but it is time for the symphony to resume. The intermission has gone on long enough. The crescendo must be reached. What the hell are you talking about? Kratos stammered. He was having trouble breathing. There wasn't anything he could remember about this. All he knew was the voice sounded so familiar and musical. The symphony isn't over, Lee. It needs its conductor. Will be able to take place and rise as the final notes are played. I can't... Kratos could feel the slick wetness of sweat running down his body. This couldn't be true. This wasn't how it happened. He couldn't breathe. Oh, God. The music. They were singing. It was all in the band. Lee, don't you remember how the children used to sing? I do. You learned your parts so well, Lee. Of course you remember. The next morning, Lee Byron woke up feeling aches from his back. When he'd eaten his breakfast, he whistled a little tune for himself. He couldn't remember where he heard it, but it was a rather nice tune, all things considered. Lee would whistle it all the way to work. And with that, we've reached the end of our reading, dear researchers. Apologies again for being late, yada yada yada. Thank you very much for coming. It has been an honor reading for you all. Good luck out there, and I hope to see you all next time. Get yourself a glass of water. You need to drink a little bit more. You're dehydrated.